people of the world. Oh my goodness. We're back. Can you believe it? I can believe it. It's hardly believable, but yet here we are. So much quarantine, so much internet marketing. In the background, you may hear my incredible children making sounds. That is intentional. That is part of the show. It's so real. Hashtag so real right now. What do we do here? We teach you marketing as if you are a student in a foreign language class. Because let me tell you, this stuff certainly sounds like a foreign language to me. We curate articles from around the interwebs. And what do? Oh yes, we learn from them. Starting with Falcon.io, Snapchat sharing data about users' purchase intent ahead of the back-to-school season. Okay, so maybe schools are not going to reopen for all students anytime soon, but the learning must still go on. Correct? Correcto? School supplies are a huge part of the learning experience, and despite the current scenario, people are still having to buy binders and books for the upcoming academic year. I can say for one that I am terrified that school is not going to reopen. I desperately hope that it will in the fall. We shall see. Snapchat published a set of data points on the user purchase intent of school supplies. What the heck is that? A look into the data will reveal that Snapchatters, that's a noun, of all ages are making shopping lists and planning to shop in all new ways with augmented reality. They say that desperation, terrible things, is the mother of invention, and here we are with Snapchat rolling out augmented reality shopping for the kiddos. I will say this, if my daughter wants to get, let's say, a unicorn backpack with pink glitter with unicorns on the unicorns, with unicorn shoes, and I put on an AR headset, she may very well purchase said unicorn school supplies with joy. The data also mentioned that 2/3 of Snapchat parents, I don't know if I would be considered a Snapchat parent, plan on spending over $300, while 1/3 plan on spending over $700 on back-to-school supplies. Fascinating stuff. Snapchat getting into the school supply game. I get it. It makes sense. That's the demo for that particular set of folks. Snapchat shares new data on purchase intent. Well, I just wonder if we go down that particular rabbit hole, what we will find on the other side. Meanwhile, there we go. Gear up for back-to-school season with Snapchat. Snapchat reaches back-to-school shoppers of all ages. Snapchat reaches 2 times as many 13 to 17-year-olds in the U.S. than Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram combined. There are 10 million U.S. Snapchatters aged 18 to 24 in the college Snapchat lifestyle category. There are 20 million parents on Snapchat, according to Oracle Data Cloud. Oh me, oh my. What does this tell us? This tells us that if we are marketing, and if, let's say you're a local plumber, probably not your demo. Probably not Snapchatable. However, if you are selling sneakers, holy Snapchat, get on the Snapchat train, back to school supplies. That's a perfect way to think about Snapchat being something you might want to check out. Gen Z high schoolers and millennial parents are adding classic back-to-school staples to their shopping lists via augmented reality shopping in the Snapchatableness. Millennial parents. Oh me, oh my. There we go. Parents plan on spending big this year. 92% of parents say their purchases are influenced by their children. That is 100% correct. 100% of the time, 92% of parents say their purchases are influenced by their children. My daughter will come up to me and she'll say, Ryan's World Mystery Treasure Chest is available at Walmart.com. Is it? Available on Walmart.com? Okay. Thank you, Annika, for that incredibly helpful information, making millennial parents a key group for driving consideration. Just want to say to the folks listening to the particular words coming out of my mouth, there is a chat box that I am chatting in right now. If you have any questions, thoughts about marketing, entrepreneurship, business, etc., by all means, feel free to comment in the chat box and I will address it. So 2/3 of Snapchat parents plan on spending $300, while 1/3 plan on spending more than $700. Well, there you have it. If you want to think about the Snapchat demo and whether or not that relates to you making money on the internet, the best way to, in the future, recall that information is to remember that it is a school supply sort of demo. Brazil users get a taste of LinkedIn stories. Not today. Twitter inspires us to tweet about events in May. Do they, though? How inspiring is it? Oh my goodness. Caroline Welsh and Chile Wanders, the most amazing duo of intelligent professionals. When should companies launch their back-to-school campaigns? Immediately. Chile, look at you with your amazing comment coming in on chat. I had a conversation with both Caroline and Chile. They're colleagues of mine. And I said, can you test out the chat box? And here they are, testing out the chat box like absolute pros. I did send an email out to the BNI group, and I also did a post on Facebook. So if you're joining us from BNI or from the Facebook post, I do appreciate you swinging on by. We're going to be doing this every day, 10:30, good times. For those of you struggling to remember what today is, let's see if this is relevant. Thursday. There, job done. But for those, it's definitely not Thursday, who are scrambling for ideas to tweet about this month, Twitter comes to your aid. There's still a good chunk of May left before June rolls in, so Twitter released an overview filled with fun seasonal celebrations that brands can tweet about. You know, in the quarantine, I don't know if that's really the best idea. Twitter also shared some techniques for how brands can craft the perfect tweets around these holidays. You know, I've seen a lot of COVID posts. I've seen a lot of quarantine posts. Not sure if that is something I am thrilled about. Let's move right along to TikTok. TikTok's taken over. Doesn't mean anything for you and me as business owners. We just had a revelation about Snapchat and the Snapchat generation. Gary Vee, an influencer in the marketing space, has been for quite a while talking about Snapchat. He's a big proponent of that particular social media platform, and I can see that he is correct in his assertion. TikTok statistics. What are we missing? Most people might recall TikTok as being the hit pop single by Kesha. That's not me. I am not most people recalling that particular Kesha TikTok, and we don't blame them. Who's we? We is Oberlo, and specifically Merriam Motion. But for the teens of the world, it has taken a completely different meaning. Try asking one of Gen Zers, and they'll tell you that TikTok is a completely new subculture. This I know. TikTok is one of the fastest growing social media platforms in the world, which presents an alternative version of online sharing. It allows users to create short videos with music filters and some other features. It feels Vine-y to me. If I recall correctly, Vine was either purchased by Twitter, but ultimately I don't believe survived. Could be incorrect about that. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's cringy, spelled C-R-I-N-G-E-Y. That's a vocabulary word, cringy, but it's definitely addictive. I, for one, have been on Twitch, and there are influencers on that particular platform that only scroll TikTok videos, and they have quite a number of followers. Worth mentioning, and while for many people TikTok seems to be filling a void left by Vine, there you go, there's much more to it than just that. TikTok provides a platform for users to express themselves in a very creative way. But what exactly is this mystery app that youngsters, those crazy youngsters. This is written by a 92-year-old, Miriam Motion. Little known fact, 92 years old. But what exactly is this mystery app that youngsters these days can't seem to get enough of? Let's take a look. TikTok is an iOS and Android media app that can be used for creating and sharing short videos. Yes, we all know this. It was initially launched as Douyin. Douyin? That word is French. I speak fluent French, so I know for a fact it's Douyin. In September 2016 in China. Well, turns out it's a Chinese word. The following year, in 2017, the app was launched by ByteDance for markets outside of China. 非常好. TikTok and Douyin both use the same software but maintain separate networks in order to comply with Chinese censorship restrictions. My Mandarin tutor lives in Tock, which is the Mandarin word for Turkey, and I am reminded through my relationship with her that there are many countries out there that are absolutely censoring the what I would consider to be ubiquitous social media platforms. So Facebook, not in China. There are a number of other platforms that simply are not available. It is no joke. Chinese censorship restrictions and other countries around the world. I have seen social media managers sharing tutorials on TikTok, says Caroline, the amazing Welsh. Her parents, when they made her middle name, thought, what's the most amazing middle name that I can think of? And they went with amazing. Her middle name is amazing. Caroline, amazing. Welsh. Chile Wanders, hashtag Rip Vine. Farewell, Vine. We loved you. We cared about you. And then you left us feeling cold and alone. Some of you might be wondering why TikTok might sound oddly similar to Musical.ly in terms of what you do within the apps. And there's a good reason why. In late 2017, TikTok's parent company ByteDance purchased Musical.ly, got it. As a result of the merger, TikTok had smooth access to targeting the US teenage market, which previously belonged to Musical.ly. Blah, blah, blah. Top 10 TikTok statistics. Top 10 TikTok statistics. Okay, that's going to be my new pop hit. Top 10 TikTok statistics. How many users does TikTok have? 800 million active users worldwide. If 800 million people showed up to your concert, you're rich. TikTok was launched in September of 2016, which just goes to show how quickly these things can take off. And in 3 years since its launch, it is safe to say that it has exploded in popularity. TikTok has 800 million active users worldwide. Thank you, Data Reportal 2020. That makes TikTok 9th in terms of social network sites, ahead of better-known sites such as LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and Snapchat. Chile Wanders is a website you should go to. She's an influencer. I wonder if she has a TikTok. She's in chat right now. If you're on the stream and you want to throw a question into chat, by all means, feel free to do exactly that. We are joined by Caroline and Chile in chat. They are incredible human beings. TikTok is 9th. Can you believe it? In terms of social network sites, ahead of better-known sites such as LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and the Snapchatting. It's interesting to point out that 150 million active daily users are in China. Interessante. Which mostly use the Chinese version of the app called Douyin. TikTok has especially been enthusiastically welcomed by many Asian countries such as Cambodia, Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. All right. How many downloads does TikTok have? The TikTok app has been downloaded over 1.5 billion. So it is by far one of the world's most downloaded apps. TikTok is the most downloaded app on the Apple App Store, TikTok app conquers the teens of the world. 41% of TikTok users are aged between 16 and 24. So this, of course, leads us to ask the question, is there any point in a marketer getting into this space if you are a local business does it make any sense at all to have a TikTok? This has been the same issue that folks have had with Snapchat, millennials and older. Facebook, obviously, LinkedIn, yes. Instagram, of course. Pinterest is kind of a hit or miss. And then there are these platforms. So are they built for business? I think the short answer is no. I think if you are a local probate attorney, you're probably not going to be killing it on TikTok. That being said, Google's artificial intelligence algorithm is so very good at looking at all of the websites on the internet and determining what your presence is holistically, which is to say that it doesn't seem like having a presence on Snapchat or TikTok would have a direct impact on whether or not you appear in search results. However, it is a fact that the interconnectivity of all sites, especially when your brand name is mentioned, is part of the whole puzzle, which is to say that yes, the photos, videos, words being spoken, seen, and shared on any site on the internet play into a marketing strategy, particularly with ranking in Google. For example, this YouTube live stream, all the words I'm saying are being counted as additional content. Alphabet, the company that owns both Google and YouTube, has an incentive to give an advantage to companies that are doing precisely this, which is sharing online. So we also don't know how these platforms evolve. You could have made the argument that Facebook back in the day was something that made no sense for business. And then before you know it, boom, it is everything. So I think exploring it is worth your time. TikTok usage by country. And Chile, I don't have a TikTok, she says, but everyone keeps telling me I need one. And I would agree with that. ChileWanders.com, greatest travel site of all travel sites ever in the world. All other travel sites are what? Disasters. TikTok usage by country. Much of TikTok's 2019 downloads boost came from Asia. Yes, we have covered this. How much time do users spend on TikTok daily on average? 52 minutes is a tremendous amount of time to be Tik-Talking. So that is a somewhat absurdly high as far as I'm concerned. I could probably manage 3 minutes on TikTok before I absolutely tapped out. When it comes to the daily time spent on TikTok, users spend an average of 52 minutes per day on the app, according to Business of Apps 2019. So this means that people are using the social networking app daily, either for creating or sharing short videos of themselves. If you're creating a video, the 52 minutes makes much more sense than scrolling needlessly. I will admit, chat and friends, that I wake up to Reddit every single morning. I spend probably 10 minutes checking that out. So they do get 10 minutes of my time, 52 minutes, obviously considerably more than that. Let's take a look at how other social media sites perform in comparison to TikTok. People spend almost the same amount of time on Instagram, 53 minutes, and a little less on Snapchat, 49.5. Facebook takes the lead, with users spending an average of 58.5 minutes on the social media platform each day, because if you're going to judge your life against the life of your loved ones, you do need 58.5 minutes, according to a double-blind study that does not exist. That's because the more time people spend on these apps, the higher is the chance that they will see advertisements. Advertisement from the Latin advertere, which means to turn toward. How many countries is TikTok available in? 155. I find this boring. 9 out of 10 TikTok users use the app multiple times daily. Also boring. Growing numbers of US adults that use TikTok. Obviously, it's growing. I think we're done with this article. Oberlo, thank you for this incredible article. Merriam Motion, killing it. Farewell. Moving right along. Get your daily dose of marketing this week with this guy. Sign up now or not. Food and government ad spending soars as travel and entertainment plummets. As a Las Vegas native, there is a certain, perhaps practical, a pragmatic amount of fear that I have about the Las Vegas economy, especially with entertainment taking a real hit. Advertising spend on traditional channels reflected both consumption changes and new behaviors from homebound consumers. During the month, the UK went into lockdown. The travel, entertainment, and telecom sector made the biggest reductions to their ad spend in March as COVID-19's impact on advertising spend led to their combined ad spend dropping more than 39 million euros. So, the absolute first thing that happened at Send It Rising was a quick reduction in the amount of pay-per-click spend. There were folks saying, oh no, you should try to save these clients. You should continue to sell them on the fact that they should be spending during the pandemic. My response to that was, that's nuts. That makes no sense to me. They should pause. And the reason they should pause is because that's common sense. Why would you be spending money when folks literally are unable to use your service? This is the very nature of a pandemic. And so the real question is 6 months, 1 year, 2 years out, what is the ramification of this? How are these companies going to bounce back? Marketing is an early indicator of how a company is going to live, survive into the future. If they slash their marketing budget, it is obviously a sign that they are hurting financially. Spend by brands in the travel sector was down 48%, entertainment 17%, and telecoms 15%, according to Nielsen data. By contrast, food ad spend rose by 18%, government by 22%, and computing by 41%. My wife is a video game recruiter. She recruits the folks that build, create, design video games. Her company is booming. They are doing quite well. This is seen here in the data. The biggest increase was among online retailers, which increased their ad spend by 208%. That is not a small number. While other sectors to see big increases include mail order brands on 40% and leisure equipment 37%. Mail order, yes. Every day in my house is like Christmas. Amazon is always a presence here. Total advertising spend on traditional channels, which include TV, press, cinema, out of home, and radio, was down 5% year on year. That makes perfect sense to me. Who the heck is advertising on TV in 2020? However, while overall ad spend decreased in March, TV actually experienced an increase of increased. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we refer to as a typo in this particular article, of 4% to 412 million euros for the month, accounting for 70% of total advertising spend. Interesting. Quote, the question of which ad sectors will return and how much advertising spend will be injected back into the market will depend on many factors. That is a non-sentence. No new information is coming in here. The most important of which will be the government's guidance on what, when, and how we can move about freely. This is clearly the case from an economic perspective. The Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP, the only thing that business owners have been able to say over the last few weeks. Wells Fargo, unbelievably poor rollout of the PPP. Many business owners have had to go to local banks to attempt to get this funding. The big question on my mind, which directly relates to advertising, is if there is a good adoption rate of paycheck protection money coming in to local businesses, then yes, there will be a direct impact on their advertising. This summer is going to be the summer that determines whether or not these businesses are going to make it. And there's going to be heavy, super incredibly heavy pressure to advertise. This to me is the summer of advertising. Why? Because it's a make it or break it, do or die situation. So just as a tsunami begins by the tidal wave receding from the beach following the incredible crash of the wave. I think the recession, if you will, of pay-per-click spend in March will be followed by an explosion in August, perhaps even July. This is my prediction. If there are companies out there that you can purchase stocks on that are big pay-per-click people, that might be something to investigate. You never know. Morrison, COVID-19 has spurred a renaissance of supermarket food. Partnerships with Amazon and Deliveroo puts Morrison's in a, quote, very good place as consumers switch to grocery home delivery and are forced to buy more fresh food through supermarkets. I cannot tell you how many times I have Instacarted over the last few days. It is not something that I typically do, and now we find ourselves pretty much addicted to it. Our longer-term strategy, quote, builds a broader, stronger, more popular, more accessible new Morrison's in a way that is capital light and delivers profitable growth. The takeaway here is that the number of people shopping online for food has changed incredibly. Online shopping in 2020 statistics. Let's dive in. 15 eye-opening online shopping statistics for 2020 from sleeknote.com. I know you all are subscribers to Sleeknote, so this is probably a redundant article, but I will go over it anyway. Everyone knows Sleeknote, and everyone knows Emil Christensen with his 10-minute read. 15 eye-opening online shopping statistics for 2020. It was just over 25 years ago. That's 1994, folks, when the first documented online purchase was made, 1995, actually. Since then, online shopping has grown from being a novel concept. Blah, blah, blah. These will show you where the industry is currently at, the opportunities that are out there. Let's jump in. E-commerce sales are expected to reach 4.2 trillion by the end of 2020. I remember when I was young thinking ordering online was a joke. Clearly, these situations have changed. There's been significant growth in e-commerce in recent years. In 2014, total sales reached just 1.3 trillion, but that number has more than tripled in 2020 to 4.2 trillion and is anticipated to keep growing as we move deeper into 2020s. So, what is the plan on the e-commerce? If you are a local business, if you are an attorney, I think the correlation to online product sales for you is the wholesale adoption of a digital platform, which is to say, now that the COVID-19 pandemic has hit us squarely across the face, it is now almost necessary for, say, local attorneys to be able to have DocuSign that works. I know some folks in my network that are now exploring ways to do all of the legal paperwork online. When we say e-commerce, it is true that most folks are thinking someone is sending me a computer, typically Amazon, through the mail. That's e-com. But there is a service-based e-commerce revolution that needs to happen. Number one, the number of people who die on the roads each year because they are driving needlessly is way too high. Way, way too high. If I am driving to a business meeting that I could have on Zoom and someone gets hurt, I bear some responsibility because in 2020, I had another option. I could have called, we could have had a Zoom meeting, but we chose not to. That personal responsibility for getting into a car to reduce the amount of car hours in our life it's very important. It obviously is going to help with gas emissions with global warming, but not to mention our dependence on oil-rich countries. There are 1.5 million reasons why we should seriously consider e-commerce not as selling a product online only, but changing the way we behave as human beings. And I am hoping that the silver lining of this particular travesty is that we all spend a significant less time on the roads. If you remove 15% of the cars from the highway, you reduce a huge percentage of the actual congestion. If you do not go to meetings, you are saving money in not spending the money on gas. You're getting more time in front of your family, perhaps, but definitely more time during the work period. And so it's a win-win, win-win-win. So local business owners, if there are ways for you to digitize the way you meet with people, to digitize your process, your receiving of money, to e-commerceify, if you will, your service, I highly recommend that we go in that direction. Now, if you're a plumber, I get it. Not going to happen. Electrician, got to be in the house. Real estate? That has been very interesting of late because of drones and augmented reality and 3D walkthroughs. It's not there. I expect real estate agents to be in full force when this whole thing lifts. But as it stands today, I think we're seeing the beginning moves, similar to what I mentioned earlier with Facebook, where it was a joke for businesses until it wasn't anymore. So service-based e-commerce, something to think about. E-commerce sales are predicted to hit 6.5 trillion in 2023. In fact, experts have projected annual revenue to climb all the way to 6.5 trillion in just 3 years. Retail e-commerce sales worldwide from 2014 to 2023, as you can see on the chart, massive increase from 1.3 trillion in 2014 to 6.5 trillion in 2023. It's exponential growth. It's not going anywhere. We all know this. If this trend maintains its trajectory, e-commerce sales could potentially reach 8 trillion per year by 2025. The GDP, USA GDP to debt ratio, I want to say our debt is 28 trillion, but I could be wrong. Just to put this into perspective, what is the what is, chat, if you know, you can chime in. What is the USA debt in trillions? US debt of 30 trillion. As of December 31st, 2018, debt held by the public was 16.1 trillion, intergovernmental holdings 5 trillion. What is the total? Total debt, national debt of the United States. Okay, I think our best bet is actually here. America is 23 trillion in debt, January 14th, 2020 from CNBC. So I think that's jumped a couple of trillion based on what we've done recently. So 8 trillion is e-commerce, so 8, 16, 24. So it's about a third of the entire economy is e-commerce sales. So that's substantial. This is great news for digital brands and shows just how much opportunity there is. Although the level of competition will certainly increase, so will the revenue. So now is the perfect time to jump on board. I would actually argue that 10 years ago was the perfect time to jump on board. There are 2.05 billion online shoppers in 2020. One of my friends who owns a tea shop in Las Vegas, he sells online. He used to sell on Amazon, and the reality is that it gets real painful real quick because of the quantity of people fighting for every dollar. So this isn't some sort of ecosystem where it isn't absolutely cutthroat. My Mandarin teacher sells secondhand laptops on Amazon, and that is pretty much dried up. It's not a panacea. As of 2020, there are roughly 7.8 billion people in the world, and just over a quarter, 26.28% of them, are online shoppers. As you can see, there's been a considerable increase in the number of digital shoppers over the years, where it's climbed from 1.32 billion in 2014 to 2.05 billion in 2020. All right, folks. Tell you what, it's been a good run. We've hit some good articles. Chile, Caroline, thanks for hopping on, testing out that chat. It is much appreciated. I am going to sign off here in a minute. If anyone's interested, 10:30 every single day, we're going to be knocking these out. So I will be back on Monday, 10:30, to dive into some more internet marketing related articles and information. Final thought. If we are going to financially recover for the disaster that has just befallen us, it will be because of our ability to adapt. So there are folks that are listening to this that are in extreme amounts of pain, and there are other folks who have actually benefited from this disaster. And so for us to move forward, I think we have to have a very sober take on that reality, that we need to come together to find a way to not only get through this particular pandemic, but be much better prepared for the next one. And if there is any way that we can help at Send It Rising as folks who know how to get the attention of others to keep businesses afloat, obviously that is something that we are interested in doing. So appreciate everyone for swinging by on this particular stream, and we will see you on Monday.